Hey guys, so I think for the channel, one thing I really want to do is something a little bit different than you would normally see on beard care channels. Heads up, this video is not going to be too much about beards, so if you're looking for a very beard information heavy video, this is not going to be the one for you, just before you guys get too deeply into this. So essentially, when I started doing this channel, it just kind of on a whim felt right in terms of things to do. I had a couple of people telling me that I was well spoken, even though I kind of stumble over my words a lot. I was relatively well spoken and I had a beard, which is good and well and all, but I know the name Stooniverse started as sort of a umbrella for all my creative things, because sort of growing up, all I wanted to do really was be something in creativity. Be a writer at one point, a comedian, which I think as a fat person, that's probably a lot of fat dudes' first aspiration in life is to be a comedian. It's something in terms of film, like directing, or now that I'm kind of getting more into editing, I'm starting to enjoy that more. And then music, I played drums for years. I've pretended to play guitar for a number of years, and I really enjoy that. I just enjoy creating stuff. So that's kind of where that name originated from. And now that I've found kind of the niche of beard care, because it is a niche and I do enjoy it, I think that that's a good thing for me to dive into. However, I was watching a live stream from a company called 607 in William, whose stuff should be here tomorrow, and I get to try that, and I'm very excited about that. And they just talk about everything in those streams, and I join in sometimes and in the chat sometimes, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's just talking about life and everything. And William had said there's only so much you can talk about beards. Like, there's only so much you can talk about it. And that just clicked like a light bulb for me instantly. And I'm into kind of a lot of things like philosophy and things of that nature, and it seems like a good direction for me to go in, instead of just saying, like, here's how to use a comb and here when to wash your beard. It's like, all right, if your beard feels grimy and dirty, wash it. If it feels okay, then just rinse it, I feel like that's kind of redundant at this point in time, and I think a good move for me to sort of move in the direction of, that my gut is telling me to, is to also incorporate things like philosophy and pseudo life advice and things like that into the channel. And if people watch it, that's okay, and if not, that's not why I'm doing this. I think my intent with this is to not get popular doing it necessarily. If that happens, cool. If not, I'm just having fun with this. And a buddy of mine who I would like to have on at some point with this portion of the channel, his name is Corey, had the idea of calling it positive growth. And I think that is a really awesome idea, and I'm going to give him full credit, and I'm going to give Will from 607 full credit for this idea. And my motivation for filming this in such a way of just, sitting in my bed here, not in front of the fancy lights and things like that, is I would like to introduce this in a way that is not flashy or the typical YouTube appeal, with the thumbnail of me looking shocked. It's not really, I think that doesn't serve the purpose of this too well. So that's why I'm filming this in almost sort of the way that those live streams I just spoke about are. It's very organic, very no frills, just talking and letting the talking be the main focus without all the sort of aesthetic distractions. Just my initial thought. Now, when I have some guests on and things like that, and in the future ones, I'll definitely kind of put more into the production side of that, but it just feels right to do this in this capacity at this point in time. I know some of my earlier videos concerning beard things were very in the vein of other content creators, and I think it's what I call first album syndrome of, you're influenced by somebody to do something, so, when you first start, you're kind of mimicking them in some way. And now that I'm sort of figuring out what I want out of this in terms of creativity and things, it's starting to take shape more of my own thing. And the family upstairs is being very loud, but it brings me to the notion or the concept of collage creativity. And I mean, that essentially means that you're taking bits and pieces from things you've consumed and making it your own, because essentially, I think to an extent that's life and that's perspective. I mean, our perspectives and ways of thinking are born from talking to people, from our parents, from our friends, from our teachers, and sort of piecing these ideas and concepts together to make it our own. And I think that applies to creativity. I think that applies to anything that you can make, and also our way of thinking. And I think it's important to listen to people, really listen in a deep way, to sort of soak in these things and take what works for you and apply that in a way that's of value to yourself. That's just kind of my way of thinking in terms of creative process. I know I kind of feel compelled to do things creatively without really knowing at first, and it's kind of like a puzzle to an extent of the reason behind it kind of makes itself apparent at some point in the journey of doing this. And at this point in time, this is kind of where I'm at in my journey and in my sort of creative process and things like that. And I really hope that this doesn't come across as any type of self-indulgent in talking about this, but I kind of want to just give people that concept to apply to their own venues in life, even if it's just thinking or you've got a problem that you need to solve. Listen to other people and take the pieces that are going to apply best to your situations or what you're doing and combine them in a way that makes that collage that is new to you and make that your own. That's kind of my first initial talking point for this. So, if this is something that you guys would be interested in, stay tuned, because I am going to do this more and produce it in a more quote-unquote professional type way. But for this first initial run of this, I wanted it to be just everything stripped away. I hope everybody's getting rest. I know that life is exhausting sometimes, and I know that that can kind of take a toll. If you're dealing with something, I hope you're dealing with it in a positive way, and that you can take something from it and learn. And I hope everybody takes care. And if you stuck through this sort of rant, I appreciate that, and thanks for watching. And you know, if anybody needs to talk about it or anything, just reach out. And if you have any perspectives that you would like to add to this, I would really, really love to hear that in the comments. Not just for the sake of engagements or whatever, but I really enjoy talking about perspectives and things of that nature with people. And I would enjoy to hear everybody's perspective, not just on beard care, but just on life in general, and creative processes and dealing with things, and just philosophies and things like that. So if anybody has anything they would like to spark up a conversation with in the comments or in a personal message, I would love to hear that. And thank you to everybody, and take care.